Hello, soul travelers. Welcome to another episode of Death Stories Living Truth. This is Janae of Living Truth, and today's story is brought to you by at afterlife underscore reveals underscore NDE underscore podcast. I will leave it in the description so you can find the video for yourself and watch it for yourself if you'd like to. I'm very grateful that you're here to watch it with me today. Let's get into it.
Out from this eye up in the sky. And I saw that one quality in this energy, in this ray of light, was love.
Yes, Lasse, thank you so much for being on the show today. So Lasse was a firefighter who had a profound near-death experience following a gas explosion. And why don't we jump right in and give you the chance to share your NDE, and we'll take it from there.
I think I will start to say something about the accident. I was 24 years and I was just started to work as a firefighter. I studied chemistry at high school and was working in different kind of laboratories in Gothenburg, my hometown here in Sweden. And after 1 week, we had an alarm coming into our fire station that we should go to the oil harbor with some equipments because there was some kind of gas leak. And it was 2 trucks from from our fire station who went to this address in the oil harbor. And because of lack of communication, we drive into this gas cloud, my elder colleague and I. And when we saw this gas cloud, my colleague Leif, he started to brake the fire truck, and immediately when he has stopped, he put in the reverse. But when he should start to reverse, the engine died. And of course, if you are calm and you can think logical, you understand that it's because of the gas. That I think both Leif and I was so stressed and terrified then when we saw this gas cloud. So he tried to start the engine, and in one of these start moments, the gas exploded, and it created a very, very big fireball. It was around 400-500 meters in the diameter.
Wow.
200-300 meters high. The other fire truck, the engine in that truck continue running, so the driver was able to reverse out from this burning glass. So they survived. But Leif and I, we had to run through this burning gas, and we received very, very bad burns.
Imagine, he's only 24 years old. He just started a job as a firefighter, and now he's in this incredible explosion, and his life is going to be changed forever. It's amazing how things like that can happen. Your life is going one direction, and suddenly it takes a complete turn, and it's going the opposite. It's just...
They put us to sleep, and then the helicopter took us to Stockholm for very good burn care. We have the best burn care we have in Stockholm, in Sweden. When I woke up after 2 months, my parents visit me in Stockholm. it's 500 kilometers from Gothenburg, but after 2 months they were there, 1 week on another, and they were sitting beside me when I was in coma. But after 2 months, the nurse said that they had some contact to me earlier on this day. So they prepared my parents that perhaps you can talk to your son now. So when they come into my room, one of the first thing my mom said was that Leif passed away, she said. And I was not surprised, because when I was in coma, I met Leif. And it can be very hard to understand, because we were in different rooms in the hospital. And many of us think that your consciousness is in your brain. Have you heard about that, Danny?
Yeah, a few times.
Yeah, some guys here
Some people say that. Yeah.
Yeah, that the conscious is inside the brain. And I think it's inside your brain, but I also think that it surrounds your body, so to say. And I think it's possible to have out-of-body experience. And I did not think so much about this before the accident, but for me, the meeting with Leif was so real when we were unconscious in coma. So when my mom said that he passed away, I already know that, because we had say goodbye to each other. And we had say goodbye in the same way I notice you very often do when you have the ambulance, for example. If you and I should be ambulance driver and we have a very, very heavy night, we are so exhausted in the morning, and all we are longing for is to come home and crash into your own bed. But still, you really would like to say to your colleague after a heavy night, "Thanks, mate, for tonight. Now we can go home." And it was with this feeling Leif and I said, "Thank you. Now we can go home." So what we say in our
he was able to say goodbye. That to me is extremely comforting to know that you always have the ability to say goodbye, and that goodbye is never forever. Like, they're still there. They're still here with you.
passed away, but my experience was that he has not just passed away, he had went home. But I had also another tremendous experience when I was in coma, and it was like that I was invited in some way to be able to see how everything was started up once upon a time. And I remember that I was a little bit there was a tense inside me. I was very curious. I was like a child, on New Year's, on Christmas Eve. So I was shown out in the nature. It was on a mountain ridge, up on a big mountain ridge. And on my right side, it was a very, very deep U-formed, U-shaped valley. And it was a beautiful nature in this valley. It was a blue river in the bottom of the valley, and it was green forests and open meadows. It was so wonderful nature. And on the other side of this valley, I had the same kind of mountain ridge with some cliffs on the edge and so on. So, wow, it was a really, really wonderful valley. And it was like a summer afternoon. It was calm. It was a good temperature. I was not freezing. It was not too warm. It was so like paradise. And suddenly there was a big implosion. And you know, in an explosion, everything starts from the center and goes out. And implosion is the opposite. It starts from out and goes to a center. So everything I could see in this valley was ripped off and took place on the sky and took the form of an eye up on this blue sky. And in this eye, I could see in Iris, I could see our planet, the planet Earth.
Wow.
I could see the oceans, the continents, the green and yellow continents, and it was so full of life. This eye, it was so beautiful to see our Earth in Iris, in eye. And suddenly I also saw energy and force coming out from the pupil. And the first thing I saw, it was like, you can't imagine that all power in one big force of energy coming out from this eye up in the sky. And I immediately felt very, very small, like a little child. So I took my eyes down because it was so enormous, this force, that before I took my eyes down, I saw that one quality in this energy, in this ray of light, was love. And when I saw this quality of love, I understood that this force will not make any harm, will not damage me or kill me, or it's not the evil.
What it was about this one element of this light that was terrifying him, that he understood that that was love and that he didn't have to be afraid. I wonder what it was about it that gave him that feeling.
Not afraid at all, and could continue to look creative force, and it's so loveful. So I felt I was not afraid at all, and could continue to look at it. And then I saw a third quality, and that was wisdom. You know, the deepest or the highest level of knowledge. That's wisdom. So this energy, this ray of light, had three qualities. It was creative power, it was love, and it was wisdom. And I saw in the corner of the eye that there was a glint of humor. It was like this eye was looking at something which was created, and it was a wonderful created creation. And you know, if you are doing something and you are very satisfied when you have done it, you have this corner of happiness in your eye because you are satisfied. Wow, that was good. And I also saw that this energy of light was going not only out from the eye, it was also reflecting back into the eye. So it was a double stream of energy coming out, but also coming back into the eye. So during this coma period of 2 months, I had these two experience. And it was very hard for me to call this last experience a near death experience, because I didn't know that I was near death when I was in coma. For me, it was more what I would like to call it a near life experience, because it filled me with such a wonderful life.
Interesting. I've never heard anybody explain it that way and say that they didn't feel like they were near death. They felt like they were near life. Like this was really living, and the life that they came back to is not living. But the life that they went to while they were in the coma is more real. I've heard that before, but I've never heard it put this way. It's
and
really
of course,
interesting.
I have been thinking, what was this? What was I shown during this period of coma? And I think when I was on the border to my own death, because I was very close to my own death. Leif died because of his burns. I nearly died, but I did survive. But when I was very close to my own death, I think I also was very close to my source of life. And I think that everyone has these three qualities in the deepest center of yourself. Not only human beings, everything which are alive. For example, you have a little plant on the right side. That plant has also life power, creativity, love, and wisdom, how to put the leaves to collect sun from the window and grow on. But perhaps what's unique for a human being is that our soul is incarnated. And if I'm right, incarnation means in flesh. Is it Italian? Incarnation?
Incarnate means fresh, correct?
Yeah. So we have our soul in our body.
So he's saying that means our soul is incarnated. So our soul is in our skin, in our body, in our flesh. That makes sense. That makes sense. So when we're born, our soul is being incarnated. Okay, I like that.
And you can see that I'm pointing at my heart right now. And if you ask people at my heart right now, and if you ask people, can you point at yourself?
Yeah.
Where do you think people will? Yeah,
that's right.
Never here. People never point at their brain.
That's true.
Here I am. Here I think. Here I am. And I also think that this essence of my consciousness, which are situated here, will not die. This energy will not die when this physical body is dying. When I saw that the energy was coming out from this eye, but also going back to the eye, I think this is a symbol that this energy is coming from the source of life and going back to the source of life. So it's following like that. Yeah. And the first experience that Leif and I said goodbye to each other, now we can go home, is that Leif's soul went back to the source of life. is I.
I finally
This
understand
is
what
what
he's
I
saying.
believe today.
So he's saying this source, this eyeball, this source of life is giving life, and then life is coming back to it. So like our souls are coming from this life force, and then when we're done here on earth, we go back to the life force. So that's what he was witnessing. He was witnessing the source of life coming to earth and then coming back.
And I think we go that way. And I don't think that some of us we go that way. And I don't think that some of us will come to heaven and some of us will come to hell. I don't believe in that. I think that's a scary way to just make people afraid.
Yeah, I agree with him. I don't believe that there is a heaven and a hell. What I believe is we all come from the same place and we all go back to the same place. Now, I'm sure there is definitely karma. Like what you put out in the universe, you get back. So anybody who's putting out hate and hurt and intentionally causing harm will also receive that. They'll receive the same harm, they'll receive the same hate, but they still go to the same source of life that a saint would go to. We all come from the same place and we all return to the same place. I believe that the idea of heaven and hell was created by humans to control other humans, because that's really all fear does. People give you fear to control you. They make you afraid so they can control you. They want, like parents do it to kids all the time. You know, oh, don't play in the street or you'll get hit by a car. That's it's a form of control. Like just because you walk in the street does not mean you're gonna get hit by a car. Like there's a whole lot of other things that fall into that. But in order for us to keep our kids safe because we're afraid that they might get hit by a car, we take our fear and put it on them. And then once they take on our fear, then we don't have to keep using it to control them. They use it to control themselves, if that makes sense.
Or lost souls. I think we can describe different kind of way to live our life, and some of us perhaps can have a longer way back home.
Wow. Thank you so much, Lasse, for sharing. This is I have a few questions, if I may. I'd love to elaborate. So I'm very curious about your experience with Leif. So it sounds like you technically had a shared death experience. So like that you were able to witness the moment, his transition, really, like the moment that he was about to pass on, you were there. And if I remember correctly, there was a sense of peace in Leif. Like there was no regret, but there was love in all of this. So there wasn't like, oh, I feel sorry, I feel bad because I'm leaving something behind. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. Yeah. Absolutely. There was not this kind of culture values in this goodbye. It was like it should be, so to say.
Yeah.
There was an acceptance. It was okay.
Also, with the realization that you're going to see him again at the end of this life, we're all going back, as you said, home. So, so what I love about ND years is that they're teaching us perhaps a different way to process our own mortality.
The whole purpose of this channel is to show people that there is another way to think about death. Like you don't have to be afraid of it, and it is not a permanent goodbye. And when you lose a loved one, they're not gone. They just transformed. So now you communicate differently. You connect to them differently, but not gone. They're still here. And that, I really think that when somebody understands that and they feel that in their heart and it takes away the fear, then they're no longer controlled, and now they can live their life fully and actually experience what this planet is supposed to give. Because I think a lot of people miss out on that because of fear. They suppress everything and keep it quiet and don't experience because they're so afraid. They're afraid of failure, they're afraid of judgment, they're afraid of the unknown. And like once you let go of that fear, there's just so much joy. And I really, really want society, humans, people to feel that joy. It feels really important to me. I can't explain why, but it does. So here I am.
People around us. Lasse, I'd love to talk about your integration.
About your integration, because I know, spent 2 months in coma. It's not little time, and obviously the recovery must have gone onwards after that. But were you able to talk to your family, to anyone about your experiences? Like, were you able to make any sense of what you went through?
Back in the 80s, we were not talking about this in hospitals, not at all, not even with the hospital priests, actually. Not with the psychologists. And I can also say that I had no need to talk about it because it was a really, really holy moment for me, this experience about the eye up in the sky. So I was carrying this experience 10 years inside myself.
Okay. Wow.
And it also took almost 10 years for myself to come close to this experience and start to put words on it, to understand it in a cognitive way. A symbol like an eye, what does that mean? For me, it means that there is an awareness. Universe is not built on randomness. There is an aware, creative, loveful, and wise power who have created universe. This I means for me that there is an awareness. And I have also understood that when I have balance, how I use my power to create things, and when I have balance to do it in a proper way, with a good will, with love as an intention, and also with some kind of wisdom or smartness, then I will create a good thing. And when I have a balance here, I will very often have this glimpse of humor in my eye. And sometimes, you don't have balance in these 3 qualities.
That makes sense. So I was wondering if you had any advice for those that are going through their own integration.
If you have an NDE, then you have received a wonderful gift. So take it easy. And understand that this gift, maybe it's just once in a lifetime, you will have chance to receive a gift like this. So take care of it. Be careful. And don't share it here and then on the square and so on. So
Interesting.
take it a little bit easy. No hurry to understand it, because you will never forget it. But as soon as you start to talk about it, this gift will slowly start to lose the colors, to fade out. Little bit by little bit, it will fade out. I will always remember this experience, of course, but it's not so full of life anymore.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. And we are a network with people who have near-death experience, and we can share to each other our personal near-death experience. And it's very good to share it with people who have their own reference, their own experience, because they can listen on another level, on a deeper level, and understand it on a deeper level. So it's very good to meet people, I find, who have similar experience and share it there. But I can also say that it feels that it's very meaningful to share this experience, in fact, to everyone who are interested and will listen, because I think we are so connected. We have an illusion thought that we are in this body just. But I think that it's a network of consciousness, and every one of us is individual and a personal expression for this consciousness. So we are connected, but we feel very often that we are separate to each other. And I think that's an illusion. We are not separated. And what we do to each other will also reflect back to us. It's some kind of karma law.
That's brilliant. I was wondering, so out of all the lessons that you've learned from your experiences, if you have to choose one, what was the biggest lesson that you've learned from your NDE?
You are not separated. You are not separated.
Honestly, like if every human understood that we are not separate, that we are all connected, and what happens to this person happens to that person, and what you do to this person also happens to you. If humans really understood that, I believe that would create such peace on earth, because so much of the anger and hate and dismay is brought on by fear, because we're afraid. We're afraid of this person because they look different. We're afraid that because they believe different things than we believe, that that's going to harm us. And we're afraid. Everybody is so full of fear. But if we actually understood that we are not alone and that we are all connected, we would see that there's nothing to be afraid of. And if there's nothing to be afraid of, then there's nothing to be negative about. You know what I mean? That negative energy has nowhere to go. It's not going to hang on to you because you are not afraid. So you let it go. I believe that. I don't know if that's true or not, but that is that's the biggest lesson that I've received from watching NDEs, near death experiences, is that to let go of fear. Let go of fear.
But I will also say,
I find it that the meaning of life is to be kind. Try to be kind. And when you are not so kind, say, sorry, that was not the best way to act. I'm sorry, I apologize for that. And very often you will have a second chance to do it in a better way. But I also think that meaning of life is to experience your own skills, your own talents, and develop them. And I think there is an old say that meaning of life is to find your own gift and then give it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well put. So based on your experience,
Wow, that's incredible. Is to find your gift and give it away. That's your whole purpose. And I believe that, because I believe your purpose on life is to love and to receive love. So to give love and to be able to receive it. That sounds so simple, but it really is hard to receive love. A lot of people are afraid, so they block that. They don't allow somebody to love them because they're afraid that if they do, that they can also hurt them, which is very true. But you have to feel the fear and do it anyways. Feel it and do it anyways. And yeah, that's a great message. That's a great way to end. I really enjoyed this one. Like I said, I'll leave the link in the bio. So if you'd like to watch the whole video, please feel free to. This has been a great story. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you soul travelers. I hope that you've learned something today. I hope that this helps in any way. Until next time, this is Death Stories Living Truth. Before you leave tonight, take one deep breath with me. Life is fragile, life is sacred, and none of us are promised tomorrow. So say the thing, make the call, forgive the person, live while you still can. Thank you for being here, soul travelers. Good night, and I will see you soon.